What is up, guys? Jay Burton here, and today I'm bringing you the next part in my 3v3 short guide arena videos, and this one will be about WLS, Warrior Lock Shaman. This has been a powerhouse comp since, I think, Wrath of the Lich King, maybe even BC. So anyways, the first thing I want to talk about, why a Shaman? Why does the healer need to be a Shaman? I'm not saying it has to be a Shaman, it can be any healer you want, really. Well, the reason why a Shaman goes so well with a Warrior and a Lock is, for one thing, the Hex does not share diminishing returns with the other CC from the other DPS, like the Warrior stuns, his Intimidating Shout, or the Lock stun and his Spheres. It's on its own diminishing returns, so you can get a full Hex off and not have to worry about messing up their chain CC. That's a minor detail, though. Another reason is that you're able to be offensive and keep the healer on the other team behind on healing. Because that's what this comp is all about. Making the enemy team fall behind while the dots are going out. What do I mean by that is, let's say the healer on the other team is trying to heal, right? He's dispelling some dots and throwing out some heals. Well, anyways, occasionally you're wind shearing him. And this is a short cooldown. It's like 12 seconds for a ranged interrupt. It's a really good ability. So the healer, every time you interrupt them, it's a short interrupt. It's like a 1 second interrupt. Well, I mean, they're still falling behind because they didn't get that heal off. And then they have to restart casting that again. Like I said, every 12 seconds, so this is actually a really big deal. This really helps them fall behind and helps your team take the advantage. Another thing is you have the ability to purge. Like priests, you can get rid of hots. So versing Resto Druid, or you got a Holy Pally who has a lot of magic buffs, whoever, they're trying to heal up, you can just be purging those hots and everything, which also makes them fall behind in healing. That's what it's all about. Anything you can do to make those dots get more effectiveness. And then, of course, you go pretty well with healing the entire team, including the Warlock's pet. Your healing stream totem heals everybody, including the pet. Your healing tide totem heals everybody, including the pet. When you go Ascendance, your heals heal everybody, including the pet. And when you use your Cloudburst totem, it heals everybody, including the pet. It's always good to get the pet healed up. It's easy to miss, it's easy to overlook. But when that pet dies, the Warlock no longer has his spell interrupt, and he'll take 20% more damage because he should be running Soul Link. So, Shaman's pretty good at healing everybody up without actually targeting specific people. And then, of course, the defense. A lot of times, in order for a team to get ahead when they're versing an Affliction Warlock is to, like, CC him. Limit his dots output. So you can CC him and then dispel the dots. You're doing pretty good. Well, a Shaman has the ability to help prevent CCs, especially castable CCs, like Polymorph, Cyclone, Hex, things like that. You can just Grounding Totem and Wind Shear. Makes it really hard to get those CCs off. Meaning the lock is, not CC'd and able to get more dots out. He's going to have much more dot uptime. Meaning, once again, it's going to cause the enemy team to fall behind in healing because of the dots. So that is why a Shaman fits so well with WLS. It's always fit well. Now, once again, you can probably use other healers. You just don't see it too often. Okay, now, the Affliction Lock, his role is obviously, noticeable. He's just putting dots out, hurting everybody, and getting some nice fears off. That's pretty much his role. Oh, and don't forget his big counterspell interrupt from his pet. Really important as well. But, why is the Warrior in here? Why does the Warrior fit so well with this comp? Well, let's go back to that little subject I was saying of it's all about making the enemy fall behind in healing versus the dots. Warriors help with this. How? Well, they bring Immortal Strike to the table, so effective healing is reduced, meaning dot damage is still doing pretty good. They're doing less healing. But the Warrior also is annoying at, sitting on healers, getting interrupts, stunning, and whatever. Of course, the Warrior can also be on a different person, and Stormbolt the healer still. There's many ways the Warrior can annoy the healer to prevent healing. And then, of course, the Warrior should be arms, by the way. Should be arms for sweeping strikes and rend. So he'll also be doing, group party-wide damage. especially if people are standing near each other, which can happen quite a bit in arenas because people will be on the same target. So sweeping strikes will be just hitting both of them. So now we got even more spread pressure going on, coupled with the dots and the Rins. That's why Warriors fit so well with this. Not to mention they also bring another spell defense, which is Mass Spell Reflect, just making it even harder to get CCs out. And then the Warrior can do great switches too, especially if he takes the Juggernaut stun. When he charges, he stuns somebody. This is amazing, especially versus healers. When you charge to the healer in the middle of a cast, not only is that like an interrupt, but it stuns him for 1.5 seconds. That's 1.5 seconds more of dots ticking on everybody. And then the Warrior's ready to either, Stormbolt or get a pummel ready to really put that healer further behind. That is why Warriors go so well with WLS. Okay, so that's the composition of the comp, and that's basically the strat I just talked about. There's multiple ways to run this comp. I usually see it like this. The Warlock puts dots on 2 people, just maintains it on 2 people, and then fears the third person. Fear will break easily with max dots, like with 3 dots on somebody. Fear will break in a matter of 2 seconds. So usually, you'll leave one person open and just chain CC them. And then the other playstyle is just dot everybody. Everybody gets hurt. You're doing less CC but more damage. So I think it really depends on comps you're versing. If you're versing burst comps like Rep Pally Beam Hunter or something like that, you probably want to go with DPSing 2 people and then CCing a third all the time. But if you're versing like another slow comp, some kind of dot comp, like let's say Boomkin Shadow Priest or something, you probably want to go and just dot up everybody and just try to whittle them down as well. So basically, the strength of this comp is that it does multi-damage. Like it really puts the enemy healer on their toes. And it's easy to make them make mistakes because they're behind in the whole match. They have to watch out from wind shears, watch out from the pet's big counterspell, keep things dispelled, try to avoid fears, and make sure they can get away from the warrior when the warrior switches to him. There is just so much responsibility you put on the enemy healer with this comp. Okay, so that's the strength of it really, but what's the weakness? Well, the main weakness is the warlock. The reason why is because if you can sit on the warlock, if you can CC him, either one, if you can stop him getting dots out by wrecking him or by CCing him, you're already putting the team really behind. The warlock has to get dots rolling. If your healer can effectively dispel the ones quickly that he does get off, and then you guys CC him before he can get more off, you're in a great position. Now, once again, they have a Resto Shaman on their team though, which is great at preventing the lock from getting CC'd. So they have a little buffer to help stop that weakness. So you have to do something about that Shaman too. Maybe you can be DPSing the Shaman and CC the lock. That way it's harder for the Shaman to help protect the lock from CCs. And another thing too, killing the lock's pet is a big deal. If you want to kill the lock, kill the pet. Like, don't just sit on him if the healer's healing it, but do switches to it occasionally, like every 15 seconds. Swap to it, start hitting it. The healer has to be watching that pet. It's easy to kill. It's easy to heal, but it is easy to kill. And if you do manage to kill it, the lock will take 20% more damage because he should be running Soul Link. So he'll take a lot more damage, meaning you can wreck him easier. Now, yes, he can give up a Soul Shard and get a pet out instantly, but that's a haunt he won't have then, or extra spread dots he won't have. So it's still a win-win. And a lot of times he may not even notice his pet's dead until he needs a counterspell, and he's like, oh, I can't counterspell. And I've healed as a Resto Shaman in WLS. There's been quite a few times where I'll notice that the pet wasn't even being DPS'd. Maybe there's a few dots that were thrown on it, and he just died over time. Didn't even notice it. So, I feel like the Warlock is the weak point in this build. And that is, if you're versing WLS, that's what you should go for. Or CC. Just stop dot output. If you can prevent that, you're in a great position. Now this comp has the capability of getting really high rating. As I said, I know it's been really useful since Wrath of the Lich King, maybe even BC. Who knows, maybe it'll be really good in Legion still. Alright, well if you guys enjoyed this video, this short PvP guide for WLS in 3v3s, please hit that subscribe button. I'll be doing more videos on other comps. I'll probably even move into 2v2 and I'm still continuing my class guides for each specific spec. But if there's anything you guys would like to see, or any questions on, just leave a comment on one of my videos. I will definitely check it. And if you want me to make a video on a subject, I will work on that as soon as I can. Alright, thanks guys. Peace out.